It's episode 4 of this OC15 single-player demo of Auburn Crown, and the Dreadworm has taken Waters Bend and all hell is breaking loose. So Waters Bend Castle has fallen. Angnord is in the throes of the Dreadworm's activities and looking very vulnerable. I will continue to move out of range of the Dreadworm as much as I possibly can, so that hopefully I can survive. I'm just going to put these garrison units, these militias, closer to the front in case he sends a spy or some sort of scout. Hopefully his cowardly tendencies will see him blow one of the units to pieces with his breath weapon, but it's a relatively unimportant. I'm sure the family of those militiamen don't think they're unimportant, but in the game they're unimportant. So I'll move them at the front is what I'm trying to say after all of that. Alright, and I will continue to dump my my points, my gold pieces, into the units. Now, one of the things that I always forget to do, but I can do it next turn, there's no problem with that, is I need to bring these Giants of Maelstrom, the Storm Giants of Maelstrom, and the sea units that accompany them down to Donsborough to support the defence down there. I haven't done it this turn, but if I hover over Mittelheim, I can see that they're on 73%. So I really probably need to do it next turn, or the latest the turn after. Quicker the better, because then they can get acclimatized and ready to stride out to retake Waters Bend. They're not really so concerned about Waters Bend. They just want to get that scepter back out of the hands of a dragon, or the claws, talons, whatever. And that's about all I can do, I think, at this stage. I'll move this elite unit up here so that they can properly reinforce next turn. Now, I don't know what the AI has done, because with Guatenheim's approach, they can do a number of things. There is a 60% chance that they will build a tunnel through here, through the Herculean Mountains, through the into the lands of the Buyaran goblins, and be right in a position to attack the southern flank of Guildford along with the Vikings here. That's the most likely thing that they will do, but they can also, there is a 40% or 20% chance that they will attack towards Mulcairn over here, not building the tunnel, or they can attack down here towards Moradon, and I don't know what they're going to do. At the end of this turn, it'll give me a good idea, because normally if they have built the tunnel, it will show up on the map, and I'll know what to look out for. If they do build that tunnel, I must defend down here as best as I can, because if they come striding through here, they'll probably take Jamrock unless I can hold it. Against the AI, it's possible. I'm not sure if it's possible against a human player. But if they do come through this area here, Guildford will be in a lot of trouble, especially if the Vikings come down as well at the same time. Now, in one of my own games, the Guatenheim attacked into Moradon, and they were took me completely by surprise, because I hadn't actually seen it before, and they did a lot of damage, but it has other effects that allowed me to eventually prevail over Guatenheim. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to move these guys out of Courland, and I will suggest to the occupants of Courland that they actually flee as well, so that they don't get captured by the Vikings. They would probably be looked after pretty well by the Vikings, because a lot of the descendants of Courland, or people from Courland, have descendants that are Vikings themselves, so it's probably okay. Over here in Angford, continuing not to get very many points at all, or gold pieces at all, but that's okay at this point. What I do want to see is how Moradon is going with its mobilization. It's on 50% at the moment, so it is moving, and it will continue to move. When it does, Of course, its GPs will go towards Angford, and when Angford itself mobilises, and they're on 55%, they will open up 2 trade routes. One here that goes through into Castile, another one down here that goes through into Terzar. And both of those will provide quite a bit of income for Angford. All right, over to the ancient lands now, and I will build up that fleet there. I keep saying fleet, it's a ship. I will get this ship up into the other port, but I really need to move it across into the main port, otherwise I won't be able to make use of the extra strength that they can be given. What did I say? 182 points. I could in fact save that up and go for an elite unit, or I could put it into diplomacy, or yes, I could put it into diplomacy, and I think I will. I'm going to take a bit of a diplomatic approach with these guys. And I can't put any more into those two, but I can help Tribal League. So Tribal League will eventually try to get Croana on side, so I'll start the process off by putting in some diplomacy into them. Croana being just on the other side there of this water, and quite useful to have them as allegiance. 157 gold pieces now, and I'll just continue to build up these leaders to start off with once they get into position. It's okay. Imhotep, a potential threat, is on 42%. If quite a bit of diplomacy has been put into Imhotep, they will mobilize fairly quickly and become a threat early on. At the moment, don't need to worry about it. Okay, 94 gold pieces left. Let's just increase some of these strengths around the place. That will do. Now, Malkan can in fact purchase an elite unit for 300 gold pieces. So purchasing in Orban Crown is very much the same in terms of the mechanics for any of the strategic command games. You'll see that the names of them, of course, are changed. The statistics in a lot of cases are the same as what they are in the War in Europe or World at War games. Particularly War in Europe, because I've based infantry, for example, on the statistics for corps, the veterans on the statistics for armies, and elites on the statistics for tanks. Air warriors, fighters, big wings are tactical bombers, giant wings are strategic bombers. So you should be familiar with the statistics for those if you've played War in Europe, but it's designed to give familiarity to anybody who's picking up the game for the first time. The ones that are not familiar are usually ones that are not purchasable. So ones like the dragons, and the other ones that are very different are, let's see if we can see them here, heroes. Okay, these are special units made up of heroic warriors, priests, wizards and so forth, very powerful, and there are very few of them that can be purchased in the game, and they're expensive. You can see 400 gold pieces, but together with the magic research, they become probably the most valuable units that the allied player has. Except maybe the dragon that they get a bit later on, but I don't want to preempt that too much. Alright, where was I? I was buying something. Oh, that's right, Malkan. And I will buy the elite unit here. I can afford to put armor, better armor on them, because the research has been done by Malkan, and so you can see that their armor value has gone up by 1 in most cases, or half a point in some cases. So I'll purchase those. and I will get them, looking at the production queue there, I'll get them in the 8th month. So at the moment, looking at the date up here, it is the 7th month, and that will be on the 31st of the 8th month. It's currently the 6th of the 7th month, so about 6 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks I'll get that, 5 or 6 turns. Alright, good. That's all I can afford, but I need to move them, of course. Continuing to move into the north area and continuing to save up my coin for the next purchase of elites. That's all I need to do there. 42 I could, and then I can put them back again, can't I? Right. Force march these guys. That was silly. Thought I'd be able to move the leader. Remember what I was saying before about keeping these guys occupied? That's why I am going to do exactly that. I'll upgrade those units next time, but I can do this one now, I think. Yep. Alright, and over to the Tribal League. They still don't have 300 points to buy their elite unit. That's okay. We will continue to march across the land. It's probably very wet and humid down there, and get ready to position myself in Sabrine, ready to attack towards Lurongo at some stage in the future. Alright, that's all I need to do. Having a look out here, I said I'd do that next turn, those giants up here in Maelstrom. That looks pretty right to me. Okay, here's our next decision. Recall the veterans or influence Beegwolf, the Beegwolf elves. The Lord Commander and the Lord Councillor have presented 2 ideas for your consideration. The Lord Commander says we need to raise an army urgently. We can recall our veterans from their farms for less than the cost of raising a new unit. Good point. Thank you, Lord Commander. The Lord Councillor says, however, we could use the Beegwolf elves to threaten the forces of the Dreadworm from his flank. Send emissaries with gifts to sway the elves to our cause. Do you want to recall the veterans or send emissaries? So let's have a look at the map. This is the Beegwolf elves, the Beegwolf forest that could be influenced to help. Of course, they are beautifully placed to help. The capital for Draka is right here. The other option is to actually build a veteran unit from the veterans that are farming the land at the moment, back in their farms. Alright, like I said, let's have a look at the notes first. I won't read the strategic decisions, I read that last time. This option, the recall veterans, will add an 11 strength for multiplayer games, or a 5 strength veteran unit, that's what I'd get, at Donsborough with 1 experience. It will cost 50 gold pieces for 4 turns, 200 gold pieces, or mobilise Beegwolf. This option will mobilise Beegwolf by 10 to 20% at the cost of 30 gold pieces for 2 turns. Much cheaper and has an effect, but we don't get an immediate effect. It's a longer term. Alright, so I will go across now and alright, so the random generator says nope. So we're not going to recall the veterans, we are going to approach Beegwolf. Beegwolf sympathises with Angnord. There's a lot of elves that don't want anything to do with human wars and conflicts, but there seems to be enough here that they've found some sympathy. Right, now this is an important decision. King Amist considers giving support to Prince Ammon. Remember I said earlier in one of the other episodes that the relationship between the two is not great. I'll read that in a second. Sir Martin of Shrewsbury stands before King Amist of Angford, pleading for assistance on behalf of the king's son, Prince Ammon of Angnord. So far, Angnord has only been assisted by arms smugglers who have brought in weapons and armour to help us, but now we are in dire need of your majesty's benevolence. My lord begs you to send aid from your treasury to help us defend your eastern lands. Will you send much needed funds to Angnord or keep your treasury filled? Alright, let's have a look at the notes on that. The relationship between King Amist and his son Prince Amund Angnord is a cordial one at best. Try as he may, the king is unable to shake the paranoid fear that his son wants him dead so that he can claim the throne. It is not an easy decision for the king whether to support Amund or not. He can't be seen to leave an ally alone against the Dreadworm though. So if we answer yes, 50 gold pieces will be taken from the Angford treasury and placed in that of the Angnord in each turn for 10 turns. So it's going to cost Angford 500 gold pieces and Angford will get 500 gold pieces. If you say no, a small penalty of 1,000 national morale points will ensue as the king tries to justify his action. The nobles will ask, why aren't you looking after your son? What is going on? Alright, let's go across and find out what the answer is. The king has decided to say, no, I will not give the money. Angford morale drops due to not assisting Angnord. And weapons development has increased to 36%. And this is the money that we have got, the gold pieces. Angford is continuing to improve. If it had have been giving its 50 gold pieces, it would be getting 0 this turn. Okay, now this is going to take us over the 15 minutes quite a bit, but that's alright. We need to see this replay to see what happens, and then we will end this particular episode. Alright. They're still going to try and attack Xander's Keep, even though it is a futile effort. The AI doesn't know how to use those guys. They're fanatics, and they're based on the kamikaze unit. So they attack, they do damage, they die. Alright, so we lost that Goodrich. That's the port and the town. And that is where we'll leave it for today. See you next episode.